Start sharing. Hey guys, this is Jim Kurtz with Harvest Harmonics, and we're real excited about today's episode of the Future of Farms because today we're going to be answering all of your questions. We get lots of questions via email on our website, people calling us up, people texting us sometimes. We get a lot of these comments after the fact on some of our live presentations. So today we thought it'd be kind of take a break from a lot of our content and really just take the time to answer a lot of your questions, because this is the future of farms, and this is an amazing new technology, and people are justifiably interested and want to find out about it. So we want to take some time and answer a lot of your questions. So stay tuned. I'm going to play a couple of videos. We'll be right back with you in just a few minutes here. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and I will be with you in just a couple of minutes, guys. We should be starting around 3:30. Hey guys, so hopefully you enjoyed that. That was kind of our little highlight reel for this year. We really had a chance to work with a lot of farmers over the last year and a half. We've been around for a while, but the last year, obviously it's been kind of an interesting, sort of tough year for everybody, not just farmers, not just, farm hands, but just everybody, obviously in the country and around the world with COVID and everything else that's been happening this year. It's just, it's very important to us that we acknowledge the wonderful people we got a chance to meet and work with over the last, 12, 16 months. And, the whole reason why I got into this business because I wanted to help farmers improve what they're able to produce. And I wanted to help them make some more money. Just a little history on me. My grandfather, both of my grandparents actually were farmers. My dad's dad was a farmer up in North Dakota, and my mom's father was a farmer in Arkansas and also worked on other farms in California. And they were really hardworking guys, really down to earth people. Didn't necessarily make a ton of money in their lifetimes, but they provided for their family and they were hardworking. And I just have nothing but respect. And so when I had the opportunity, when I found out about this 4 years ago and the potential it had to help farmers around the world improve not only how much money they can make to provide for their family, but also how much better the food quality can become. Because as we all know, the food quality over the last 15, 20 years has kind of degraded a bit. And, it's good for us to be able to, give farmers a solution instead of just demanding that they change what they're doing, to give them an actual solution, which will allow them to really, improve what they're doing. So that's why I'm here. That's why we're all here. We want to help farmers. We want to help everybody around the world eat healthier and live healthier by eating better food. And the Kyminasi plant booster is going to help farmers provide exactly that. So today's episode, we're not going to kind of go into a PowerPoint. We're not going to go into a presentation. We've already kind of showed you on previous episodes a lot of the results we're getting on farms, and we keep getting more and more results all the time. So today we really just wanted to take a step back or take a pause for a second and acknowledge all of the wonderful questions we're getting from you guys, our viewers, and from farmers. We talk to farmers every single day. They have questions. They want to know certain things. Sometimes they get these crazy questions that are like, we never would have thought of. We have to kind of look at the answer, that kind of stuff. But generally, we get a lot of really good questions from our viewers and from farmers and from people of all walks of life that want to know, hey, what is this technology? What is this all about? What is the future of farms, and how can I get more information, and how can I start using this so I can improve my farms? So today we've compiled a list of a lot of the most common questions we get, on our website, on our Facebook feeds, on our Instagram and LinkedIn, and questions from the sales guys and all over the place. So we've compiled a list of those questions, and we're going to be answering those questions for you here live on this presentation. And we also want to encourage you guys to ask questions. If you're here on the live stream, I want you guys to ask questions. I have one of my moderators helping me out today. He's going to be monitoring our Facebook feed and our LinkedIn feed as well, to see if people have questions that maybe we didn't already get. And so I can make sure and answer your questions too. And of course, if you happen to catch this presentation as a replay, we want you to ask your questions in the comments, and we will get back to you either on a later episode, or we will just directly answer your specific questions. So without further ado, let me get my list in here. Let's dig into the grab bag here. Let's see, Joe in Kansas has said, what is the name of your company? Well, Harvest Harmonics International is the name of our company, and Harvest Harmonics USA. We have a company, we're international. We're currently actively have farms in 12 countries, and another 13 countries we're entering in negotiations with, and we'll have trials and various farms going in those next 13 countries, probably within the next couple of months. We have another 20 or 30 countries that are on the beginning stages on the runway. That's our international company. We are worldwide. We take care of farmers all over the world. And here in the United States, we're Harvest Harmonics USA, and our job is to make sure that all the farmers here in the United States, the 4 million plus farmers, have access to the best technology on planet Earth right now. Next question here. This one's from Sue. This was, what is the Kyminasi plant booster? Kyminasi plant booster is the name of our product, which is very simply an irrigation device. It's a micro transmitter system that installs onto a farmer's irrigation system. And as water travels through the farmer's irrigation system, it activates our micro transmitters, which send very specific signals to the plants through the water. And those signals have been tested and proven to enhance biological function in plants. Steve asks, how long has the company been in business? Very good question, Steve. We've been in business since 2014. We founded the business then under the name Organic Earth Tech. And after 4 years of research and development, we actually changed our name to Harvest Harmonics in 2019 because farmers seemed to have a confusion that they had to be organic farmers to use the Kyminasi plant booster. You don't have to be an organic farmer to use it. Any farmer can use it. It was our mission to help farmers grow more toward organic growing. So use less chemicals, less fertilizer, less things that are damaging to the soil and the environment, and be able to grow more naturally while still getting the same or better yields than they're currently getting. So that was the name we originally had, and we transitioned over to Harvest Harmonics to reflect that, hey, we handle all farmers and we help everybody. So 2014, as I mentioned, we were doing research and development. We did a number of different field trials from 2014 to 2018. In 2018, we went through a breakthrough which improved the quality of our device and got us up to commercial irrigation standards of 2,600 gallons a minute. And then again in 2019, last year, we got an updated version of the technology once again, which improved it to be 8 times faster than ever before. So really, in terms of our commercialization and going to market, we've been around since late 2019, promoting the Kyminasi plant booster and helping farmers all over the world. Why did it take 5 years to launch Kyminasi plant booster? As I mentioned, the first 4 years was mainly R&D, research and development. We were getting really good results on plants back in 2014, 2015, but the flow rate of our system would only accommodate about 20 to 30 gallons per minute. And that wasn't enough for commercial farmers to be really cost effective. So in 2018, as I mentioned, we got it up to 2,600 gallons a minute, which significantly reduced the cost to where farmers can afford it. And now farmers are getting a tremendous return on their investment. And as I mentioned in 2019, the upgrade of the technology once again made the results so much faster. We're getting results sometimes in 2, sometimes 3 weeks, and they're seeing tremendous results as a result. How does it work? Okay, this is when we get the most often. So how does this Kyminasi plant booster work? And this is where sometimes the technical side of it comes in. I'll try to explain it as simply as I can. So what happens is that water flows through an irrigation system, right? And an irrigation system runs in a linear fashion from one direction to the other. But when water is a polar molecule. It has a hydrogen side, which is positive, and an oxygen side, which is negative. So as water travels in a direction, it creates a very small electrical current. It's not a battery or an electrical current like you'd see in a live wire. It's just the water itself produces a very small current. And that current creates a magnetic field around the pipe. The magnetic field is enough to power the microtransmitters and activate our device. The microtransmitters send a series of over 3,000 frequencies of special radio waves that enhance the biological functions of plants. And it enhances very specific things such as nutrient absorption, water absorption, carbon dioxide absorption, the efficiency of the light reaction and photosynthesis, and it also improves the glucose metabolism, which is the dark side of photosynthesis, where the plant is taking the energy that's developed in that light side photosynthesis and it's turning it into fruit, it's turning it into flowers, it's turning into more cellular growth and more fruit production. How does the water carry the signals? Well, very good question here. Water carries the signals because as water travels, again, it has a very small electromagnetic field that it creates just by nature of it flowing through the system. It carries the signals via this method, and the signals will ultimately dissipate, but it will transport this information to the plant. And when the plant absorbs the water that's been charged with our signals, the biological functions of those plants are recalibrated to their optimum function. And when that happens, the plant starts to grow faster, stronger, healthier, produces more fruit, and has a number of other benefits. Next question here, and this one comes from, I'm not even going to try and pronounce this name. This one comes from Ghana, actually. I'm not going to pronounce your name, sir. I'm sorry. I just don't want to mangle it here on live TV. But the question, farmer in Ghana asked this question. He says, how do the signals, and he's watched a couple of our presentations, how do the signals stay suspended in water after it stops flowing? And great question here. The answer is very simple. All signals eventually dissipate, right? No signal is going to stay in a solution for an infinite number of time. What happens is the Kyminasi plant booster signals will dissipate usually within 1 to 4 days in a standard commercial agricultural environment. But it can stay suspended in water for 2 to 3 weeks. Like when we take water samples to do our quality control check, the signals will stay suspended in water for up to 2 to 3 weeks. And that has to do with the fact that the molecular bonds in that water are constantly oscillating, and they're able to hold that signal for 2 to 3 weeks in a completely natural or completely unmolested environment. But in the soil and in a natural environment, you will typically see the signals start to dissipate in 1 to 4 days. This one's a similar question. How long do the signals last in the environment once they're issued through the irrigation system? And again, it's usually 1 to 4 days. We're seeing pretty consistently after 4 or 5 days. Then when we've measured it in the past, we've seen that the signals will start to dissipate. And then you need to irrigate once again. Let's see here. How do the signals enhance photosynthesis? Okay, very good question here. What happens is the inventor of this technology, Mr. Fulvio Baumelli, is a researcher that has studied plant physiology for 20 years now. And it took him 15 years of studying the complex interaction of the plant's signaling system. What he found was that while the plant is undergoing its typical reactions like nutrient absorption or water absorption, there's a signaling system that those cells in the plant actually exhibit. For example, if it's absorbing nitrogen, right, the cells in the root system of the plant have a very specific signaling system that it uses to align the ions of nitrogen and allows the roots to absorb that nitrogen out of the soil. Or likewise, when it's absorbing water, there's a very specific frequency pattern or signaling pattern in the cells of that plant that it exhibits when it's absorbing that water. So by careful research and careful study using very sophisticated equipment, Fulvio Baumelli was able to decode those signals and actually mimic those signals in a radio wave application. And then, of course, he spent years testing this over and over and over and over on plant after plant after plant to confirm that these particular signaling patterns were the correct ones. And of course, when we did our field trials starting in 2014, we saw the results, which were pretty consistently huge increases in production, huge increases in bricks, and overall fruit quality. Next question is, have you tested this at a university, or do you have any peer-reviewed studies on it? This is probably one of the most common questions we get from farmers, and the answer is very simple. We have tested this at research facilities in Italy, which is where the technology originated. And we have a certification. We have 2 certifications. The first test was done to confirm that we're actually able to utilize our system to improve the absorption of very specific nutrients. And we saw in that test improvements in the absorption of nitrogen, calcium, manganese, magnesium, and a variety of other nutrients. And the second test that we did with that same facility showed that our system is not detrimental to plant health. In other words, our system has no negative effects on the plant. So farmers that were really worried about, if I use this, am I going to possibly damage my crops? Could it have a negative effect? So we did extensive testing with this facility to determine that our technology has no negative phyto, I can't remember, has no negative effects basically. It does not produce any effects that would cause any damage or lack of production or anything like that in the plant. In addition to these two studies, we actually, again, we just came out with this technology at the end of 2019, the latest version, and we knew that that technology was continually improving and continually getting better. So we kind of waited on the university trials until we knew that we had a stable technology that was sufficiently strong enough for commercial agriculture and that was producing field results in a timely manner, because we were always producing really good results, but sometimes with previous versions, it was taking sometimes 2 months, 3 months for the farmers to really see a significant difference. And of course, when they harvested, they saw the difference. They saw 20%, 30%, 15% improvements, even back 2 or 3 years ago with earlier versions of this. But now with the latest version of this technology, which we've had for over a year now, we're seeing results in a week, 2 weeks, sometimes a few days, where the farmer's watering consistently. He's already seeing differences in the plant. And when harvests, we're seeing results all the way up to almost double the production on certain varieties of plant. But what we did is we waited on university trials until we knew we had that stable technology. So we had set up several trials for this year in the spring to test on a variety of crops, including tomatoes, including citrus and other types of tree fruit. And unfortunately, as you can imagine, COVID came along right as we were getting these trials started and shut all the universities and all the research facilities down. Everybody had to stay at home. All the non-essential research was completely disbanded or postponed. And we're still waiting. We're still contacting, like the University of Florida and various other universities that we had planned to do studies with earlier this year. We would have had those results already, but we're actually recalibrating, re-getting started with these guys, and hopefully we'll be able to get those trials underway again soon as the restrictions get lifted with COVID. In the meantime, in South America, we do have a couple of trials going as we speak, and we're awaiting the results on that. So hopefully that answers the questions you guys have about university studies. What we do have is well over 50 documented results, and we have more and more coming every day. In fact, I think we might be up to 100 now of documented field results, field trials that we did where we had a control field and a test field, and we just measured the difference in growth rate, in germination percentage, in flower drop, in fruit bloom, Brix tests, sweetness, all these different tests that we did all over the world. So we do have a lot of documented results that should hopefully convince most farmers to at least give this a try and see this on their farm. Next question here. Which farmers are using this, and how many do you have so far? Excellent question here. Here in the United States, again, currently with the current version of this technology, again, we've run hundreds of tests over the last 5 years, but currently with the most current version of the technology, we have about 50 farms here in the United States using it. And we have a lot more farms coming on board right now. In fact, we're in negotiations with several large farms that we should hope to close before the end of the year. And around the world, we have another 100, 150 beyond that. So we have a lot of trials and a lot of farms right now that are using the technology, and that number is just going to skyrocket, especially as the COVID restrictions start to get lifted and start to relax. We're going to see a lot more results as of this year and next year. Have you tested this on all crops? That's a very good question. I get this one often all the time too. The answer to that question is it's virtually impossible to test this in a year's period. It's virtually impossible to test this on every single type of crop. However, we have tested this on a number of different crops. We've tested this on tomatoes. We've tested this on citrus. We've tested this on tree fruit like plums, nectarines. We've tested this on a lot of varieties on peppers, including bell peppers and hot peppers. And, we're doing some trials, getting some stuff going on hay and garlic and wheat. We've done this on corn. We've got blueberries. I mean, I can just go on and on about all the different crops we've tried this on and gotten excellent results. So if you're a farmer and you look through our website on the results page and you don't see results for your specific crop, you can always give us a call. We'll work with you. We'll figure out a way to an appropriate test to show you that we can get results on your farm too. But the bottom line and the real answer to your question, to that question is, Our device enhances photosynthesis. It supercharges photosynthesis. It supercharges nutrient and water absorption in plants. And that will benefit any type of crop. I mean, anything except maybe a Venus flytrap. I mean, and even then maybe, but any type of plant that utilizes photosynthesis for its growth and its reproduction is going to be benefited by the Kyminasi plant booster. So if you're looking around and you're asked the question, well, do I know what's going to work on this crop? I can guarantee you, and I will guarantee you, it works on your crop too. In fact, that's part of our guarantee. Our guarantee is if we're not making you more money on your farm with the Kyminasi plant booster, then we don't want to take your money. We will give you your money back if we can't get you more money with the Kyminasi plant booster. And you know what? Out of the hundreds of farmers that we have made that promise to, we haven't had a single farmer come to us and demand his money back. So we're confident and we know that you're not going to ask for your money back either, whether we have specific results on your crop or not. We will get results for you. We guarantee it. Next question here is, how much does it cost? I get this one a lot too. I don't know how much it costs. And I wish I could give you a very simple answer, but the honest answer, guys, is every single one of our Kyminasi plant booster systems is custom designed for that farm and that field and that pump and that application, because every farm is different. In fact, most farmers will tell you, if you got amazing results on, let's say, tomatoes, right, in Argentina, they don't care about that. They want to know, are you getting results on tomatoes in Florida where they're at, or in California where they're at? You know, so every farm is unique and every farm is different. So we go in and we find out very specific information. We work with every farmer to get exact information about that farm and that field and that pump and that irrigation system on that specific field. And then we pre-design, we custom design a system just for that farm and that field. And then we go over with the farmer that the price for that system. And we make sure, of course, we do a complete cost benefit analysis to make sure that before we even install it, that farmer knows he's going to make a lot more money with Kyminasi plant booster. So have no fear about that. In fact, just to give you an idea, we're getting return on investments of 5 times, 10 times, and sometimes we get 20 or 30 times return on investment. So every dollar you spend with us, some farmers are making $20 or $30 what they're spending on us. And I don't know that any fertilizer company or any other type of input that can have those results. So we want to talk with you and show you that our device is going to give you amazing results, amazing return on investment. And it really is the future of farms. We didn't just say that as a slogan. We're saying that because we really are the future of farms. Let's see, next question is, how is the project installed? Again, great question here. The product is very easy to install. And if you watch some of our earlier live broadcasts, you'll see that we actually show you some of the devices and what they look like. And the installation, in fact, you saw in the opening video to this presentation, or if you're catching this in midstream, then go back afterwards and watch the beginning of this, because we showed our CEO, Frank Arlia, doing installations of a lot of farms here in Florida. You know, we wanted to go out and experience everything and get to know the farmers. So we did a lot of these early installations ourselves. And it's very simple. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes usually to install the Kyminasi plant booster. Plus, we do take water samples as a quality control check to make sure that the waters have our signals in it, that the signals are embedded in it. So we know the installation was done correct. And the farmer knows, hey, I'm going to get results. So there's no question whatsoever. But the installation takes 20 to 30 minutes usually, maybe up to an hour on certain complex systems or things that might be hard to get to. For a smaller trials or small farms where we give you a prefabricated device that gets plumbed in, it just, as long as it takes to plumb it in, which again is maybe half an hour to an hour at the most. Will I have to change the way I run my farm? Next question here. Good question. The answer to that is no. You don't have to do anything different. That's the beauty of this. This is a plug and play product. You literally just continue doing what you're doing. Just add the Kyminasi plant booster to your irrigation system and then water your crops. And then literally it's just a matter of watching the amazing difference in the transformation of your farm. Now, one of the things we do tend to stress, and one of the things we've seen is farmers that irrigate more often will tend to get better results, and they get their results faster than farmers that irrigate less often. So let me give you an example of that. Let's say you're a farmer and you're watering once a week. And let's say you're doing, let's say 3 acre inches, or let's say maybe, I don't know, 10,000 gallons is what you're putting on your field once a week, right? What we would say is if you have the ability to water more often, like 2 or 3 times per week, then with less water, then it will have a much more pronounced and beneficial effect with the Kyminasi plant booster. Because what's happening is the Kyminasi plant booster signals are going to be very fresh, obviously, when you first water. And then that first day, it's still going to be strong. And then over the next 2 to 3 days, the signal strength in the water and in the soil is going to start to dissipate, as I mentioned earlier. So if you're only watering once a week, that means the plant is getting access to those Kyminasi plant booster signals that are enhancing the biological function for the first 2 or 3 days, and then it's not getting those signals for the next 2 or 3 days. So if you're able to reduce the volume or the time that you're watering on each irrigation and water a couple of times more per week, but with less water, the plants are still getting the same amount of water, but they're getting it more often. That means the signals of the Kyminasi plant booster are at full strength, and that plant's going to respond much faster. And particularly in situations like, for example, here in Florida, we have citrus greening, which is a devastating disease that's really weakening and killing a lot of the trees for citrus here in Florida. If you have a situation where you have a very serious disease or insect pressure or some kind of serious problem like that, we definitely would recommend watering more often if you can, because that will keep the signal strong and give the plants a fighting chance over these extra pressures. But otherwise, you don't have to change the way you farm. Just keep doing everything you're doing and just watch the difference. And then later on, as time goes on, obviously farmers know how much soil, how much fertilizer they need to add. They do soil tests, they do tissue samples. They can kind of judge for themselves if they need to continue fertilizing as much as they did or using as much pesticide or whatever. We are anticipating that over the a couple of years, the farmer is going to start saying, you know what? This soil test shows that I don't even need to add nitrogen, or I don't need to add 5 applications of fertilizer. I can just do 1 this year and get the same result, same production. So over time, we would expect a farmer to reduce his input costs. But that's something we don't demand, and we kind of go over that with each farmer depending on their situation. And we let the farmer decide on that. But in any case, you're either going to get a lot more production, and if that's important to you, if you want to get more production and better quality fruit, keep doing everything you're doing and just add Kyminasi plant booster. If you are looking to reduce your input cost over time, then I'd say add the Kyminasi plant booster, see the difference, and then, the next season or the next harvest, if you're saying, well, I got 30% more yield, but I don't need 30% more yield, I would rather keep the same amount of yield. Maybe I can get away with reducing my fertilizer cost by 1/3. So I do 1 application instead of 3. I'll let you guys just determine on each farm how you guys want to do that. I'm going to take a quick break here and a quick break here. Now, I also want to mention again, guys, if you guys are on the Facebook live feed, if you're watching us on LinkedIn or YouTube or anywhere you might see this video, type in your answer, type in your questions. If you're not hearing the questions to your specific concern, then type them into the comments. We'd love to answer your questions as well. Meanwhile, until I get those questions, I'll talk to Mariano here, who's helping me moderate this. We'll get to your questions in just a couple minutes here. Next question I got here is, does the technology change the water? This is a very good question. Our technology does not change the chemical structure of water. We're not adding anything to the water, like we're not adding fertilizer, we're not adding chemicals like chlorine or anything like that. There's nothing that's changing the chemical composition of water. What we're doing is we're adding a signaling system, a radio wave signaling system that's carried by the water. So the water is just like a carrier. Just like an electrical wire will carry an electrical signal, the water acts as a carrier wave to carry our signals to the plants. And it doesn't change the water in any way. We have noticed when we did some flash freeze tests that it tended to realign the molecular composition of water so that the patterns were a little bit different. And that may just be that it's somehow aligning the molecular patterns of the water, but otherwise it's not adding anything or changing the molecular structure of water. The next question is, does it use magnets? Is this a magnetic system? This one we get a lot too. This is not a magnetic system. We're not using magnets. It's not magnetizing the water. I know there's other technologies out there that claim to get tremendous benefits and use magnets and stuff like that. And I'm not going to knock anybody else's solution or technology, but farmers have reported to me that in some cases they work, in other cases they don't. But our technology is not magnetic. We're not magnetizing the water or electrifying it or changing the water in that way. It's literally just an electrical, or it's a radio wave system that's being added into the water, so the water is carrying it. Is this a fertilizer? No, it's not a fertilizer. Again, we're not changing the chemical composition. We're not adding anything to the water. It's just a signaling system that's improving the biological function of plants. Is it certified organic? The question is, it is not certified. And this we get from a lot of organic farmers. I want you to be clear on this. We have contacted Omri. We've contacted a couple of other certification companies. And what they've told us is, because our system is a device, it's actually a device that goes onto an irrigation system. And because it does not change the molecular structure of water, it's not adding a chemical input to the water or the soil or changing the chemical structure of the water or soil in any way, it's not organic. It's compatible with organic growing methods. And we have talked to several organic certifiers around the country, and not a single certifier has told us, based upon our description, that anything about the Kyminasi plant booster would jeopardize organic certification in any way. However, because we are not a chemical input, Omri has told us that they do not certify, they're not equipped to certify our technology. Again, it's kind of the future of farms, guys. We're light years ahead of what everybody's doing, and the certification process will come along. But we're happy to work with any certifier or any organization, or even any organic certification organization that wants to test our technology and include it in the organic certification protocols, because we do want to support organic growing. That said, we are not only for organic growers. We can be applied and used by conventional growers. Any kind of growing environment you have that utilizes soil can use the Kyminasi plant booster. Can the Kyminasi plant booster be used in hydroponic or aquaponic systems? This we get on a fairly consistent basis, and unfortunately the answer is no. We have done a few trials with hydroponics, and in some cases we got amazing results, and in other cases we got no results. And when we talked to Fulvio about it, he said this technology is designed to work in soil applications only. So hydroponic and aquaponic environments, you can try it, you may get results, but we can't guarantee results because the technology was just not designed to work for those applications. And right now, less than 5% of all growing done around the world is hydroponic or aquaponic. So we're not that concerned about it. Now, in the future, as we kind of get things rolling with standard growers, I'm sure we're going to be working on some kind of application where we can do some research and find a way to help the aquaponic and hydroponic growers as well. But unfortunately, at this time, we don't have a solution for you guys yet. Is the technology patented? The answer is no. We have not patented. We do have an overall patent for the Kyminasi technology, and that's an international patent. But for the Kyminasi plant booster specifically, we don't have a patent on this. And the logic behind not patenting this technology is literally 20 to 30 years ahead of its time. The amount of research and the amount of development that went into this is literally, it's so far ahead of its time that even if somebody got one of our devices and tried to measure and tried to figure out and tried to see if they can measure the waves and stuff, that the technology itself is encrypted in such a way that there's literally only one set of machines that can produce the technology, and there's literally only one set of machines that can test the technology and verify that it's working, and it's impossible to reverse engineer. So we want to take advantage of the fact that it's going to take people a long time to catch up to this. And maybe in a few years, 4, 5, 10 years, when other types of research gets closer to what we're doing, we'll be able to patent the technology at that point and have authority on that. Next question, are you electrifying the water? No, we're not electrifying the water. It doesn't use external power source. It's a plug and play system. As I mentioned, the flow of water is enough to activate the system, and we don't have any problems with that. No external power needed. Why does the technology only last 2 years? Again, we've talked to several farmers. The answer to that question is originally a few years ago we had a technology. The technology only lasted for 1 year, but farmers were telling us we really need to see a longer investment. We need to, if I'm going to invest in your technology, I need to know that it's working for longer than just a short period of time. So we continued to research, and in 2018 we got it up to 2 years. And obviously farmers want it to last 4 or 5, 10 years. I'm sure that would be great if we could do that. However, the cost of programming these microtransmitters and getting the signals to last in the microtransmitters beyond 2 years became astronomical, and it became not cost effective for us or the farmer to be able to utilize the technology for longer than 2 years. So for right now, we have a device that's 2 years. Again, we're seeing phenomenal return on investment. Farmers are making a lot of money, especially specialty crop growers are making a tremendous return on their investment over the 2 years that our device has. And who knows, in the future that might change, but we'll see on that. But in the meantime, if you have concerns on that, let's get on a call. We'll talk about your specific farm and your specific crop and your situation. And we'll show you that we're going to help you make a lot more money. And if we can't demonstrate that we'll make you more money, no harm done. We won't sell it to you. We want you guys to make money, and that's our whole purpose here. So that's kind of it on the backlog of questions that we've had. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to invite Mariana, who's been kind of monitoring our live feed here. And I want to see if he's got any additional questions from people that maybe I haven't covered yet. Mariana, are you there?
Hi, Jim. Are you
Hey.
there?
Yes, I'm here.
So basically you cover mostly what the questions I have, but I got one from Jason from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
He grows oranges, right? He basically has.
Okay.
And he says he asks if you got any results like on oranges or on the state of Florida or any state.
Very good question. We do have lots of results on oranges. In fact, in California, we got we were doing his on some seedlings, and we were able to demonstrate that within 6 weeks, his Kyminasi trees were growing faster, and actually were almost double the size of his neighbor's trees, which started at the same size. But or actually his neighbor's trees were 2-year-old seedlings, and they started off bigger with the canopy already starting to develop. But in only 6 weeks, his 1-year-old seedlings were already double the size of his neighbor's yard. And the only difference really in the way they grow is the Kyminasi plant booster. So we're expecting him to see the trees come to full production instead of 5 to 7 years. We're expecting him to be able to get to full production in maybe 3 or 4 years. But obviously we'll have to monitor that and see what the actual time frame is. As far as here in Florida, we have a number of different field tests going on right now. We are seeing some definite improvements in insect pressure. As most people here in Florida are aware, HLB, or citrus greening as it's called, is a huge problem. That's cut the production of Florida citrus by, I think it's like at 80% less now than it was 15 years ago. So right now we're testing the Kyminasi plant booster, and we're seeing some reductions in insect pressure and some preliminary results. It's a little bit of a problem because the groves in some of these places where we installed are in such bad shape and in such poor health that it really is hard to bring them all the way back and get an immediate results like we're seeing on some of these other crops. But we are definitely seeing improvements in the overall health of the trees, and in some cases the insect pressure is greatly reduced as well.
Very good, though. So I don't have more questions for now, for today.
Okay. Well, guys, like I said, we appreciate having you. If you've watched this, you didn't have questions, or maybe you didn't want to ask it on a live, you can type in your comments on this feed, on this post. We'll answer them to you either in a future episode, or we'll just answer you directly. If you're interested in this, you want to find out more about how you can get this on your farm or your landscaping business or that kind of thing, then definitely give us a call. Our phone number is 727-324-6750. You can also email us your questions or your interest at service@harvestharmonics.com. You can leave us a direct message on our Facebook channel. We check those every day. At the end of the day, though, guys, we just want to help farmers. So if you're a farmer and you want to make more money and you want to see your crops do the best they possibly can, and you want to see your plants come alive again, like they're really, really healthy and they're really producing at maximum levels, then you have to try this technology. You have to use the Kyminasi plant booster because you literally have nothing to lose. We back everything up, everything that we say with 100% guarantee that you will make money or your money back. And we've not had a single farmer ever take us up on that. So that's all we got for today, guys. But give us a call, contact us. We want to talk with you. We want to show you how you can improve your farm with the future of farming, the Kyminasi plant booster. That's all we got today, guys. Until next time, we'll see you later and have a great, great day.
Thank you.